Hey everyone, I'm back with my first video where I'm actually on camera. I'm mortified. Let's see how it goes. I wanted to talk about some music in my record collection because I've been collecting records for over 20 years now, and I thought it would be fun to share some of the more interesting things I had. And today I wanted to focus on video game vinyl. A lot of people, when they talk about video game vinyl, they like to talk about newer releases like this Life Force soundtrack that Ship to Shore put out last year. It's a good release. I mean, I own it. I own multiple copies of this. This is the green one. Looking good. And that's cool. And I like new vinyl. I buy a lot of new video game vinyl, especially if it has download codes. There was a great reissue of Snake Rattle and Roll that I bought that came with a download code. That was nice. I was a fan of that. But I like to talk about older ones too. And so I thought I would talk about some of the earliest game vinyl, kind of starting in the 70s and going into the 80s. And a lot of the really early game music, and that's what they call it here in Japan. They don't call it like video game soundtracks or game soundtracks. They say game music. So I'm going to say that phrase a lot, game music. I'm not saying gay music. That's different music. We'll get to the gay music. I got Annie Lennox right there, right? I mean, we'll get to my Madonna collection at some point, but not today. Talking about game music, a lot of the early ones aren't game soundtracks. They're kind of like related to game music, related to games. There was an album by a band called The Droids that sampled music from New Galaxian. That's one of the first ones. I do believe, thanks to Jeremy Parrish telling me this at one point, the first appearance of a video game on a vinyl record would probably be a Gentle Giant record. I forgot which one. It samples Pong. So once again, Frog wins. The earliest game-related vinyl I own is Disco Space Invaders with an alien that is very inappropriate looking. This came out in 1979. It is a single, as you can tell. It's a dance song about Space Invaders. The chorus, here's the lyrics. Let's all together do the Space Invader. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Shoot, 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 shoot. Repeat, repeat, repeat. For 3.5 minutes. Not gonna lie, it's a bad song. But even before that, there was some kind of game-related music. Yellow Magic Orchestra, this fantastic band out of Japan, on their first album, this is the first one here, it's the Japanese cover, this is the US cover. I have this 2-disc set from Music on Vinyl. This has 2 tracks that are remakes of game music. It has a track that remakes the theme from Circus, and another track that remakes the theme from Invader. They're not sampling. As far as I can tell, they completely reworked the audio using synthesizers that they had. I think it was probably easier back then. If you haven't ever heard YMO, like, they're my favorite Japanese band and one of my favorite bands of all time. This album's great, and Solid State Survivor is an all-time banger classic. Check those records out sometime. Other early video game vinyl would be novelty records. There were a lot of kids records that like are terrible. I have a few of those. Maybe I'll do a video on those someday. And then songs like PacMan Fever. But this is PacMan Fever because this is the Japanese edition, and in Japan he was called PacMan. I don't think he still is. I think they made it all Pac-Man. This cover is great. I love this cover. And this Japanese version is not just on the cover. On the song itself, they changed the lyrics to say PacMan Fever. Buckner and Garcia were international. I unironically love that song, and I think this is a great little record I own. I'm happy to get it. There weren't a lot of game music releases, really. It didn't really start to pick up until '84. That's when, again, going back to YMO, Harumi Hosono of that group released this album. This is actually a 12-inch single. This is the Super Xevius Hardcore Mix. And this has a remix of Xevius on the A-side that takes the music and sound effects from Xevius and combines them to create kind of an original song. It's really interesting. I really enjoy it. There's also a CD. The CD's good. This came out much later. I do like this CD because it has the reproductions of the 7-inch artwork. which is different than the 12-inch. The B-side to this, by the way, is Gapless and Tower of Daruga. They do not get the same attention as Super Xevious. It's just the music and sound effects from the game, unfortunately. Hosono would follow that release up with Video Game Music, released in 1984, generally considered to be the first video game soundtrack proper. This has that Xevious mix on it. Maybe it's a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same thing. Also has Galaga, Pole Position, Pac-Man. But it's not the most listenable record, because while that Xevious mix is fantastic, like the new Rally X is just audio from the game. And that's a lot of like low bitrate engine noises that just do not sound good in your headphones. So it's an interesting release. It's a good footnote in history, but it's not one I would, put on my speakers on a daily. It does have, however, this great little piece of art in the back. I love the glitch art. It's cute. Hosono would follow that one up within the year, a little over a year later, on June 25th of 85, with the return of video game music. This time it's War. That's my joke. That's not the name of the thing. Anyway, this has Dig Dug 2, no one's favorite, and Gapless. It also has original music that's like game style, and those are good tunes too. And so not just as game music, but as proper original music. This is a great record. After the release of Return of Video Game Music, YMO would form GMO Records. Now, YMO stands for Yellow Magic Orchestra. GMO stands for Game Music Organization. They released music from 85 to about 94, and they only released vinyl until 88 because I think CDs caught on a lot faster here. They put about 20 records on vinyl. I have a good chunk of them, and I think they're all pretty great. Most major game companies from the 80s put stuff out on GMO. You have Capcom. Capcom put out multiple releases. This is their first one, Volume 1. It has, as you can tell from the cover, Ghouls and Ghosts under the name, well, Ghosts and Goblins, I guess, the first one. Ghosts and Goblins under the Japanese name, Makaimura. And Commando's on here too, under the Japanese name Senjo no Okame. Now, these are great because not only are there the original versions on here, but there's also arranged versions, these remixes that use original instrumentation. And that's why I love these records. They're so great to find these kind of pumped up versions of these songs that a lot of times you can't get on other releases. Like this has the Ghosts and Goblins, Ghosts and Goblins and Commando. This one, Volume 2, has an arranged mix of a song from Mega Man, kind of a medley. And you're not going to get that on any other release. So that's kind of cool. Hudson also released some game music on GMO. They have their album here, Hudson Game Music. This one's pretty rare, and there's a CD of this. I've never found it for under like $200, so I haven't bought it. The vinyl's good enough for me. That was not a Goonies reference. This is a unique one because the entire B-side is arranged version. So the A-side is Star Soldier, Nuts and Milk, Binary Land, Bomberman, Raid on Buckling Bay, Championship, Load Runner, and Challenger. And the B-side has arranged versions of Bomberman, Nuts and Milk, Binary Man, Load Runner, and Star Soldier. So that's unique. That's a lot of arranged music for one record. Also unique about it is a picture disc. And I believe it is the only picture disc in the lineup. Pretty. Unfortunately, picture discs sound like garbage, but this one comes off okay, I think. It wasn't that bad. Especially surprising since my copy is, as you can see here, a rental record, because in Japan you can rent music. I am shocked it sounds as good as it does. Konami released quite a few game music records back then, including a few on GMO. I have 3 of them, 2 on vinyl here, and then a 3rd on CD. The first volume is very good. It has a great version of the Gradius theme and a great version of the Twin Bee theme, arranged versions, and it has original versions of Yaya Kung Fu, Gradius, Puyan, fun to say, Time Pilot, Gyrus, other good stuff like that. It also has stickers. I believe a lot of these old releases had stickers, but in most cases the stickers are lost because I think kids bought these records and they used the stickers. I was lucky. This must have been bought by a joyless old man who did not enjoy stickers. I enjoy stickers, but I'm still not gonna, anyway. Good one here. Volume 2 has a lot of good stuff on it. It's interesting because it has the like home PC versions of Goonies and Year Kung Fu. This is the 3rd volume. This has a lot of good stuff on it. It has a good MSX medley. It has a dope cover of the Vampire Killer Castlevania theme. It owns. This also has the entire soundtrack to a game called Kai no Hot Rock. It has music from Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA, Madonna's Like a Virgin, Rock Me Amadeus, Twist and Shout. Even a John Lennon song, Women, is on here. That's funny. This also has the Konami morning music, which is the music they play in the office when the day starts. And I think it's the only way you can get that tune. Namco put out a few releases on GMO. I have 2 of them. I have one on CD and one on LP. These aren't my favorites either because these don't have a lot of remixes. They're just straight up the music from the game, no changes. And that's okay for the most part, but these games aren't my favorites. Like, I like Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder's on this, but Hopping Mappy, Genpei Tomanden, Baraduke, Sky Kid Deluxe, I don't know those games. So, good cover again, and some good stuff on here, but not my go-to picks. My go-to, one of probably not my favorite release, but in terms of like nostalgia make me happy, I mean, obviously, Nintendo, right? These are called Famicom game music, but they're Nintendo. And they put out 2 on GMO Records. The first one is great. Great cover also. Like, what? Oh. I don't know why someone is confused and then surprised. They should have used an interbang, the combination question mark exclamation. Anyway. So this has everything you'd want. These both have everything you'd want. This has Super Mario Brothers and Mario Brothers, Zelda 1, Donkey Kong Jr., Excite Bike, Wrecking Crew, and Balloon Fight, and this has Metroid, Doki Doki Panic, the golf games, like, you know, good music overall. The first one has amazing arranged versions of Super Mario Brothers and Balloon Fight. The second one has an arranged version of Doki Doki Panic. Unfortunately, this one is not as good, mainly because most of the album is for the soundtrack to Shin Onegaishimasu, which is a game that obviously never came out in America, and I don't really know that game, so it's good music, but it doesn't hit that nostalgia button. I also like the first one because stickers. Good stuff. I also have these on CD because I'm an idiot. The Nintendo music is some of my favorite in terms of just nostalgia, but in terms of just straight up music and also the aesthetic of the album, you cannot get much better than Sega Game Music Volume 1. Someone just took a picture of a TV playing Outrun and made it the cover because they were like, we don't need anything else. It's Outrun. People will buy it. I bought it. The entire A side is Outrun. It has Magical Sun Shower, Passing Breeze, Splash Wave, Last Wave. The B side has Space Harrier and Alex Kidd in Miracle World. So in terms of, now Alex Kidd in Miracle World, not a great game, but the music's fantastic. And Space Harrier, yeah. So in terms of like bang for your buck and a great cover, Sega Game Music Volume 1, you can't get much better than that. Volume 2, also very good. Look at that. Fantasy Zone. The entire A side is Fantasy Zone. The entire B side has 3 songs, Hang On, Enduro Racer, and Quartet. So not as like 100% solid as the first one, but the entire A side is Fantasy Zone. Come on. Sega had one more. They kind of mixed up the aesthetic for this one. They went with Afterburner, and I think this is the arcade cabinet art. Good art. I like the simplicity of the let's take a picture of a TV more, but this is still cool. And this has Afterburner, Super Hang-On, and a game called SDI. Oh, and Alien Syndrome, which is one of my favorite games from the 80s that I had on the Master System when I was a kid. But this is a great cover too. I should just frame it, just put them like here. Yeah, anyway. I also have the Sega one on CD. I have a lot of these on CD. I didn't mention that. I got the Return to Video Game Music on CD, and 2 of the Capcom ones on CD, because I'm a completionist and I can't stop someone send help. Anyway, yes, so other ones. IREM put out one right here. This is not as, not as much of a banger. This was on vinyl, but I can't find that vinyl. It's like crazy hard to find. And this has 13 minutes of R-Type, and then Kid Nicky Radical Ninja, Moon Patrol, Lode Runner, Mr. Heli, and a few other games. I really like the music to R-Type, so I like this CD quite a bit. Another one that I only have on CD is Data East's release. This was the last one they put out on vinyl. This came out in '88, so I imagine the vinyl's quite rare. I've never seen the vinyl for it, so it must be. This has Karnov, obviously, as you can tell from the giant Russian man on the cover, and it has Heavy Barrel. Not the best album, though. It only has one arranged version. It's for a game called Darwin 4078, which I've never heard of. Another kind of odd one is the SNK one. This has only a few games on it, and it's just long tracks with the entirety of the game audio. So it has Victory Road, Athena, Akari Warriors, Iron Tank, and Alpha Mission. No, nothing's done to change it. There's the sound effects too. It's kind of bare bones, as you can see from the back, because it's like, yo, that's it. That's all we got. It's okay. It's not my favorite. It is a promo, which is kind of interesting for me. So it's rarer. So I paid even more money for it that I'm not going to listen to because I'm an idiot. Here's a favorite. Another great cover. Taito Game Music, Volume 1. Someone was like, we need to let them know we made Arkanoid and Space Invaders. I got an idea. Funny art. Great album. No arranged versions. Well, one arranged version, a game called Outer Zone. I don't really know that game, but this has Legend of Kage, Space Invaders, Elevator Action, Arkanoid, bubble bubble on it. What else do you need? I need it on multiple formats. I have 2 CDs. And an LP. I don't know why I don't know why. I really don't know why. But so I have this on vinyl and tape and 2 CDs. I have too much free time. Now, I've already said, oh, this is my favorite for this reason. This is my favorite for this reason. In terms of just pure music, nothing else. This is my favorite one. This is Darius Soundtrack, Taito Game Music Volume 2. The entire thing is a Darius soundtrack. Or Darius, however you say that. Side A is the original music, which is great. Side B is the arranged version. And the arranged version of this is just fire on fire. Chaos, the main theme, is the most epic shit you'll ever hear. James Horner on Aliens ain't got nothing on this. It's incredible music, just pure and simple. I highly recommend this release. Now, I believe Ship to Shore put out an album with this cover, and that's a good album, but I don't think it has the arranged version. So if you want the arranged version, you gotta find this. It's also on CD and cassette, I imagine. The CDs for this are pretty cheap. You can find this at most stores for under $30. So it's a good deal there. Again, this is a great record. Whew, whew. One more here in terms of a game of music. This is Tecmo's. Unfortunately, no Tecmo Ball. A little too early. It has an arranged version of Mighty Bomb Jack and Super Star Force, and it has all the music to your favorite game ever, Guzzler. I just like saying Guzzler. Guzzler. Now, there were a few other releases by GMO on vinyl. There was one for Enix and one for Falcom. Now, those are very expensive now. They're very hard to find, and I don't like those companies' games that much. So I don't have them. If I could ever find them dirt cheap, I would buy them. Maybe I should sell my Tecmo tape or those multiple copies of Taito and start a fund to get the last few, because I'm so close to having the complete set. Like, I even have, there was a single, Hudson Game Music put out a single for their release for Star Soldier, and the sleeve is just a sticker sheet, and so I have that. And I even have GMO released 2 albums that were not game music, and I have those. They released, I have one of them. This is the GMO Christmas album. If you want to hear chiptune renditions of Silent Night, White Christmas, Deck the Halls, and more, here you go. I have this on CD somewhere, and this vinyl. I just bought this vinyl for like $10. This is not a high demand record because, to be honest, it's actually kind of will drive you crazy. But if you have a Christmas party and you want to clear the room, you can play on this chiptune version of Here Comes Santa Claus, and I guarantee you, people will leave. Thanks for watching. I plan on doing more videos about game music and other records in my collection in the future. So if that's something that you think is interesting, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And also you can follow me online at Twitter at Lost Turntable, and I do have a blog that I occasionally update called lostturntable.com. But that's going to do it for today. Take care.